Hello and welcome. This is Diana and you are watching Holistic Vibes, Life Path 33. This is going to be a general for love, and just take what resonates, leave the rest. I don't know if this is relevant, but given the moon and the retrograde that's coming up, the past is coming back to say hello, right? And you are either going to fall hopelessly, deeply in love, or you're going to understand and realize like why it didn't happen, right? It's almost like you look and you second guess like I've just done all this work. Like, why am I going to go backwards? And so, like, in that moment, like, know that, like, the reason why the old is coming back is to see if you've processed the emotions that are associated with the actions of what happened. And so the sooner you get on the vibration of all things are happening for me in divine timing and all things happen as they should, right? Because when you're in it, you have like those rose tinted glasses, and like when you get sucked out of it, it really changes the perception in which you're operating in and what you're actually like looking at in the reality you're sitting in, right? And so maybe somebody out there is contemplating this now. Maybe it's like fresh in your head. Maybe it just literally popped up, right? And so like ask yourself, okay, so like the thing is like you ask yourself, like, where do I gain my own victory? Where am I still a defeatist within myself? And where am I stepping into my divine authority that I am the water bearer, that I am the strength, that I am the faith, that I walk with divine sight, that I am like expansive, that I am regenerative, that I have the inner knowledge, right? Like go through the I ams to like activate like your high priestess energy, right? Because somebody is going to feel like they are out in the cold. And the truth is the only reason why they're on defense, why they're at a standstill, why they are like, they're holding a fort that's already been defeated, right? And it's not really about you worrying about them. It's about you worrying about your journey with you. And like, express the gestures that you need. Like, if you need to say it, like, then say it, right? Be entirely transparent in your hopes, wishes, desires for that person, although they're not living in the current reality in that vibration, right? But in the same regards too, like, no longer hold space for someone who's unwilling to do the work, right? Like, you have to know your value and say, yo, either you step up, you could be the right person. However, in the old timeline, in the way of your old operation, you can't come with me, right? And so like pulling in the desires of like what it is you truly wish helps you get into a state of being where you then are like celebrating the what has been causing the delay, I thought that said boogerish. Yeah, it's all about like you no longer allowing like the triggers that held you back or held you in a limited state of being. It's kind of like you finally get to a state of being where you're like, I love where I'm at. I am who I am. I love where my physical being is. I love where my home is. I love like the vehicle I drive. I love my friends. Like, and when you're getting into this state of like, Oh, wow, that's funny. They just said it's like the understanding that like not everybody is meant to be famous on this planet, right? But just because you're not famous or infamous, you can still be seen by those that are supposed to be touched by you, that are supposed to have the expansive experience to get you in that state of being. And so like, it's not about, oh snap. They just said like the tides turned, and where someone is now claiming victory, the other person is now in defense because they know what they did. So they know that that wave is coming to hit them and smack them on their ass. So what do they need to know for today? What's the most important part for today? Not identifying your self-worth through the financial acumen that you have. Don't allow yourself to take risky endeavors just because it may sound good. Like, do the work on the back end to actually get due diligence, right? Through conventional understanding and through your own inner knowledge, you gain grounding, right? Because what I'm getting is like whoever you were associated with had ants in their pants. They couldn't sit still. They couldn't process. They actually had like severe forms of like, I don't want to say it's ADHD, but it's ADHD is what they're showing me. And like when you slept with them, you essentially suck that energy away from them, because a lot of these energies are perpetuated by entities, right? And so like you essentially took on that entity, and you went into like this depressive state of being where you just entered into somebody else's life lessons, if that makes sense to you, right? And so like you're kind of in this process, or you have been in this process of where you've replanted the seeds that were meant for you, right? And so now you get to step into your actual divine timeline, no longer crying over the coulda, woulda, shouldas, and you are going within with intrigue, curiosity, and virtue. Like you're stepping into the, I know what I'm worth. I know what I signed up for. Yeah, friendliness. And so like the thing is the way you're hollering into the forest is the way the forest is now hollering back at you. And so as you're like working through these things that have been coming up, like constantly, if you are partnered up, like don't lean into the fact that somebody's wounds are all exposed. Instead, lean into the, like, number one, how would I want them to treat me if I was going through this, right? Are you the last to know is what he said. There's relevance everywhere. And does it feel like that, right? In your mind, did you think everything was hunky-dory, but in actuality, like shit was blowing up all around you, and you just were too preoccupied in like the day-to-day grind that you forgot to look outside of yourself, or like read auras, right? Or read vibration, or make the extra connections. It's, you know, you have to set up a day where you're like, yo, on this day, we're going on a date. On this day, like, you're walking in the evenings with me. On this day, you're doing da-da-da-da-da, right? Because, like, the thing is like, if that's what fills your cup, then that's what your partner needs to step up and do, regardless of what takes place, right? And so, like, I'm getting, like, there's this recalibration that's taking place today that, like, is going to change the way you used to believe in the toxicity of love, like the used to operate in. And whenever you gain this knowledge, like your sacral will open up, and it will, it's kind of like breathing or taking the lid off of, because right now, like your ability to manifest love is kind of clogged up. And so as you're in your day-to-day and you continue to lean into friendliness, God's grace, you going out of your way to just assist people, right? You're aligning with that openness that you need to manifest this divine love that is coming in. Sorry in my cards for? They just like sneezed all over the place, and they're all over. So here are the cards. Yeah, it's something with this moon, like the releasing, the understanding, like the what you desire, the allowing the magnetic frequencies to like kind of ripple through your emotions, so you're no longer attached to them. It says you are protected by higher power that also wants you to help you. If the path seems blocked, there is a good cause. Take this as divine intervention, as a sign from above to wait. When the time is right, all flows with ease. Do not discount your imagination, for it has great power. Amazing things will unfold for you if you pay attention to your imagination. Respect and honor it, for just below the surface of this seemingly real world, there is an existence of a dreamlike world, full of imagination. What you imagine is not fiction. Very often it can be the beginning of a wonderful new creation. I just said numbers. Yeah, so your energy is, it's like you're literally getting a fresh start. You're getting a 0-0. They just said, like, when your energy is aligned, like, the amount, the waves of satisfaction and peace and insight and completion that are going to come to you are going to be absolutely mind-boggling. Because it's literally like you get to start fresh, right? So what they're showing me is, like, there's, like, this 7-8 year cycle that's kind of resetting itself, right? And so you may find old situations coming back into resurfacing. But the truth is like they're trying to get you stuck in that old time loop. Some of them. You have to take this as it resonates, right? And so, like, the thing is do you want 18 more years of, like, the same shit that you've been through, like, 7 years ago, 8 years ago? And that's something that you're going to have to get into a state of being, right? You're going to have to figure out. Because what I'm getting is, like, your openness and your morals and values and your integrity that you've been working on to change who you are over the last 6-7 years is a completely different human being than what you once were or what you once settled for, right? And so, like, get into that state of being of, like, habitually, like, calibrating, like, where you're operating at and, like, what the person is reflecting to you that is no longer in resonance. And when you say, no, God, nope, I'm not doing that. I refuse to go backwards, right? I refuse to go and revisit. Then what happens is that other person, like, steps up and is a completely different, like, they're legit a different human being. Like, they look at you and, like, the words out of their mouth, their articulation is completely different, right? Or they're going to be exactly where you left them. And so you have to figure out, like, what pathway you want to conform, to inform, to accentuate as you're moving forward from this point forward, right? What else? They just said there's something else. Sorry, guys. What is it? They want you to work on a gift. Soul connection. So either you're in soul's residence or you are not. And if you are not, you just say thank you, no thank you, next. Right? Release to the divine perspective. Instead of responding purely by what your eyes see and your ears hear, by doing so, you will see the real person and appreciate the good that is inside each and every one of us. Occasionally, that divinity of goodness that you know is there may be buried deep past the hurts, the protective layers, or the life's conditionings. See other soul as a soul first that will help you to open your heart so that you have a better connection with the people here. Do so, and your compassion will significantly enhance the spiritual connections to those in the spirit world. So I guess it's like a gateway for you to get into your higher timeline and overall like your intuition, to get it to where it's aligned when you're doing these three things, right? So I'm going to leave that there. If something in this resonated with you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you would like a reading, I do currently have availability, and am working through a client list. So if you want a QHHT session, hypnotherapy, BQHT, or like my mashup of a bunch of different modalities, those are all things that I offer below. Until next time, be well. Ciao.